I'm going to attempt to do this very quickly. I have not got time to like go over this immensely in detail because I want to keep this short. Okay, we're back to more rebirth. I think this is a reference to the rebirth, the whole rebirth thing again, and we're back to the Hoover Dam. Okay, this is the shooting at the King Soopers in Boulder, Colorado. Okay, you know, I mean, the straight direct reference is that the Hoover Dam used to be called, before it was called the Hoover Dam, it was the Boulder Dam. Okay, and Colorado is the Red River. All right, the red leg that feeds into Lake Mead that is contained by the Hoover Dam or the Boulder Dam. Are you following? This guy's walking out of here with a red leg. A direct reference to the Colorado River again that feeds into the dam. Look at this guy. No shirt, no shoes, no service. I've got this in the Gematria. Let's look at this. What service? 81, 108. And why is this important? This, I keep going on about the 81, the 108, 18, because the dam itself, dam is 18. 18. Alright? We've got, you know, I mean, there's some other references to it, but we, you know, I mean, you have to go back to the other videos of mine to see this 118, and I'll tell you why the 118 is super important. I've attempted to do a little bit better chart of this double cross of Lorraine. This is something that shows up a hell of a lot. You have to go back and look at the old stuff of mine, but these are the balance numbers. The balance between the metaphysical, the spiritual side of reality, and the physical side of reality. Nature, physical nature, our physical embodiment. This is, anyway, I can't go into this chart right now. There's other videos that explain it, but these are the numbers we've got to be looking at. 58 for balance, 1118 for balance, and we got to look at some of these completion numbers. Well, you'll know if you look at some of those other videos of mine that this 1118 is heavily referenced with this as well, with this number, the 322, the skull and bones number. And in this chart as well, I've called it the Leviathan cross as well, is this 118. The Leviathan cross is the 118. It's the cross of sulfur. It makes, you know, just stick a line through here and you've got that cross. It's very similar to the cross of Lorraine that we were talking about with Joan of Arc and other things that I've mentioned in the past. And we've got an 88 right here at the start of this. This is pi right here, these numbers here. And there's an 8 running this way, and they're reflected back this way as well, and there's an 8 running this way. If you put an 8 on an 8, like a 4-leaf clover, you get a double cross right here. There's another double cross right here. This is all about the double cross. Oh, anyway, bear those numbers in mind. Here's your 55 and 88. Okay, from Back to the Future. These are the totals for these columns. And so, it's an interesting chart. Let's put it that way. Let's whiz back to what we're looking at. So this dude, no service, immediately sprang to mind. So, you know, when you start seeing 88s and 81s and 55s, you know, this is what we're talking about. King Soopers. This is what we're talking about. The king being reborn. Okay? This is why this thing's starting off in the Rocky Mountains. The rock is what's got to be moved away from the tomb to allow Christ to re-emerge, to be reborn. Okay, to be resurrected. Okay, so we're looking for Christ the King. This is what we have to become. There's no guy. There's not a guy that's going to come and save you. The guy is already here. God already put him outside the door. It's called nature. Okay? You have to come into balance with nature. You have to balance the fictional side of this world, all the made up stuff, all the ideas and inventions, all the so-called progress, with the rules that are there in the material world, if you like. Those are the things that have got to be balanced. And here we're talking about balance. Here, this is referencing balance again, the 55. This is part of that cross. You know, I mean, you can see some of the stuff I've put in here. I don't really have to, you know, Lake Mead. This is where that leg feeds into, that red leg of that guy that has no service. He's got a red leg. Alright, I just put in some stuff that, you know, the red socks. He's got a red sock on. Alright, that's what it looks like. Or a red leg, or the red socks is at 118. That I put Wells Fargo in there because there happened to be a Wells Fargo thing in the background of one of the news feeds. There's the red sock, okay, 114, and that all ties in with the dude. You know, the 114 ties into the destruction somehow with Kim Jong-un and Stanley Kubrick's CRM 114, Dr. Strangelove, and in a bunch of other films as well. Kroger, the people that own King Soopers, or that's part of a subsidiary of theirs, I don't know. But anyway, 88, 38, you know, this 38 and the 83 pops up a ton. I've got Bud Light in here, Budweiser, the king of beers. I did some stuff on Bud Light. Bud Light is the bud of light. That's what's emerging, the bud of light. That is the new bud that is about to bloom. The dam is 18. The Hoover Dam, Hoover is 8338, the same as Joan of Arc, 8338, the same as Colorado, 8338. New King, this is what we're going to be witnessing, is the birth of the new king, 8338. We've even got, I even did a bit of a play on words here, the Nuke King. Because the Nuke King would be Kim Jong, which is also, phonetically speaking, the same as King John. And there's a bunch of references to King John and Runnymede and the signing of the Magna Carta. You know, I mean, it's all this stuff re-relates over and over and over again. Yeah, Joan of Arc with the crowning of the king. I don't know what King's sword was. I had that in earlier. That was something interesting. You know, the leg, nothing majorly interesting because people keep breaking their legs. We've had a ton of references to legs lately. Tiger Woods breaking his legs. Ashley Judd. You know, Double Jeopardy. I mean, it's just round and round in circles for me. I don't know what else to say about it. So, we've got that guy, and I think that is a direct reference to, I think that is just a direct reference to this leg that feeds into the Maid. The other leg, coincidentally, if you look at the Lake Mead, the other leg here, this is feeding in from the Rocky Mountains, from up by Boulder there in Denver. It's feeding in, and it comes through the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon's a 181 or something. Feeding in to Lake Mead. Mead is the maid. It's just an anagram of maid. Maid is where you're made. You're made inside the maid. The maid is the triple goddess, the moon goddess, the maid, the maiden, and the old crone. The crony. And what we're dealing with, the corona right now. Anyway, we'll talk about that a little more with one of these other references. But this other leg that feeds in is the... I'd never looked at it before until just yesterday now. I was like, well, I better look at what this other leg's called. And maybe I did look at it, I've forgotten it, but this is called the Virgin River here. I mean, you know, you just can't write this stuff. I put that up at the top here, look. What have we got? Here's some of the other stuff. Virgin, you know, 8338 again. You know, this is what we are, what we need to become. Christ the King. There's no guy that's going to come along and hold your hand. You know, this is up to you, you and me, to take the responsibility and start holding the people accountable that are not keeping to natural law, not keeping to nature, not keeping to the physical set of commandments that are there, that are in stone, that are there for us. Again, we're back to Boulder being the rock again, and you know, that stuff is physically there in stone. It's the physical matter that is there. You know, this is the thing that we're encased in. You know, I keep talking about coming out of the virgin, you know, out of the virgin waters, or the maritime system, out of Mary, or out of the moon, or out of the, you know, the feminine goddess. But it's the thing we're all trapped in at the end of the day still. It's the mater, the mother nature. It's the matter, the mater, that we're trapped in. It's part of the thing. But what we have to do, you know, is we have to get in balance, really, with the fictional side of that. So you see how all these things kind of overlay back on one another, all these ideas. You know, where's we talk about Elvis, because JL that I watch I usually watch quite often. He goes on about Elvis, and Elvis is the king. You know, we're talking about the king, Sooper, the super king. Well, Elvis is the king. I don't know if I've got rock and roll on here, but rock and roll I think is a 118. If you put rock and roll in, he's the king of rock and roll. No, I don't. You see, I had all these things up and they bloody disappeared on me. But if we put it in, I suck at typing. Rock and roll. You know, another 118. I don't know what else to say, you know. Rocky Mountains, 180, 81. Grand Canyon, there's your 181 there. Made and Mead, 81, 18. I put marijuana in. I hope I spelt that right. 88. And we've got a 155 here. But the 88 is, you know, again, we're back to that, another balancing number. And marijuana, I don't know if Colorado was the first place to do it, but it's definitely legal there anyway to smoke. All right, well, just put smoking in. Smoking. The smoking of marijuana in Colorado legalized. Another 88, 101. You know, I mean, Memphis, where the king is born, 83, 38. I know I'm probably repeating it. You know, gold, what you got to find. This is what Wells Fargo would have originally carried, was the stagecoach full of gold, 38. You know, and again, a Wells Fargo, you know, another reference. They had the armored truck on the Tillman Bridge, and that's another 118. You know, I mean, I mean, I'm lost for words, really. I guess let's go back and let's just look at one more. Let's look at a couple of other things here. Let's look at some of the names. I don't really want to do the names. These are the supposed victims. Whether or not this thing really happened or not is anybody's guess. I mean, everything seems so far-fetched. I mean, even when you look at 9/11 and how far-fetched that seems. I mean, you know, it happened, but did it happen the way they say it happened? You know, the same with you know, the other several of the other things, events that supposedly happened. Do they happen those way? I mean, it's so crazy the way reality works. It's almost possible that these crazy things do happen. You know, when you look at stories like Joan of Arc that seem crazy, when you look at some of the stories in the Bible that seem like they're almost impossible, um, and when you look at some of the recent stories, you know, is it a bunch of people orchestrating this stuff? Is it woven into the story that God has put there? Ultimately, it has to be woven into that story that God's put there. Even if there's a bunch of people orchestrating the stuff, it has to be woven into the story at the end of the day. There's only one thing in charge, and that is the big man upstairs. But anyway, let's look at some of these names. Jodie Waters, we got a Waters, we got a Fountain. I don't know. Tally. What's the tally now? I mean, we got Nevin there. Evan Almighty, Eve, the Den. We're at Denver. You know, here. Denver's just right next door. I don't know if Denver's technically part of. I don't really know how that area breaks down, but anyway, you know, it's right there. We're in the Den. Are you about to come out of the wolf's den? That's the only thing I think. Daniel in the lion's den. You know, these are the kind of things that pop into, you know, when you're in the den. It may be not a good place to be. Usually there's some kind of ferocious creature in the den. I don't know. I don't really want to go. I mean, you know, who knows? This possibly could have happened? This possibly could be a staged event. This possibly could be a combination of two things going on. You know, the mind boggles. The mind boggles at the name of the. Let's go on to this here real quick. Let's just, you know, this was the first interview I saw last night. This is the same girl doing a repeat of the interview because she's wearing different clothes. She had a mask on in the interview that I saw her in, and they didn't have her name on the screen at the time, but they said it, and it was Sarah. Sarah's another 88. Sarah Moonshadow. And she, you know, what is the moon shadow? The moon shadow is the umbra that is cast upon you when the sun is blocked by the moon. It's that shadow. It's the umbra, the umbrella of the moon. The umbrella is the parasol, the thing that blocks out the sun, and it forms the corona, the false light. Okay, the crown of thorns. It's all the same. It's almost like everything breaks down to this in reality. Everything. So to find a reference is not that difficult anymore. To find these references is actually pretty easy. You know? Anyway. I don't know what else to say about it. Let's just play this little bit of this to see what happens.
And my son pulled me back and said that we had to get away. I just tried to focus on my son. I was mostly focused on like just making sure that he stayed as close to me as possible, and that
let's just stop there. She's focused on the sun. The umbra, this is the moon shadow. She is the moon shadow, and she is focused on the sun. So you could look at it one of two ways. She's blotting out the sun, you know, the sun in the sky, and she's focused in on the sun on the earth. The Son of God on the earth. Alright? You and I, she is focused in on. Anyway, let's carry on.
That he didn't stand up too far because I just didn't want him to be too tall and become like a moving target, because we couldn't tell exactly where the shooter was.
didn't want to become a moving target. She didn't want the sun to be the target. The bullseye. The bullseye is the place where you've got to come out of. The bull head is the womb. The bullseye is the vesica Pisces. That's the place where you have to come out of. I don't want more to say about it. You know, so we've got moon shadow here. You're in the shadow of the moon. We're all in the shadow of the moon. As David Icke would say, the moon matrix. The matrix. That's another 118, by the way. So that's the thing we've got to come out of. This is the thing we've got to balance with. We've got to balance with the moon. Got to re-establish balance, and that means taking responsibility, like I said, and applying some natural law to solve some of these legal issues that are largely to blame for a lot of this nonsense that's going on. I mean, it's not just that, but it's basically everything feeds the system, you know, feeds that moon system, the matrix. What else have we got? Oh, this is JL's video. He picked up on some good stuff. Okay. Okay, I don't really want to go too crazy into this. The guy, this is the guy that perpetrated the crime, supposedly. This is a D here. JL's got a blotch on his screen. But if you could pull Adam out of that right there, and you could pull Lisa out of that. So we've got Adam and Lisa, and I don't know if you remember that picture called the Mona Lisa, a reference to the moon again, maybe, with Lisa. There's probably other goddesses called Lisa as well, I don't know. But Lisa, the moon goddess, the Mona Lisa, and again Adam. So this dude, they put a shirt on him there, of course. But anyway, interesting. You know, and this is where the mind boggles, is when JL shows this bit. I hadn't seen this at all. But this guy here, supposedly the guy's still in there shooting, and this guy's just stood here, you know. Just, I don't know what he's doing on his phone, probably texting somebody. Oh, somebody's shooting somebody in here, you know. This is what makes it so ridiculous. Can this even be real, you know, with this guy just stood here while there's a guy in there shooting? I mean, this is the kind of ridiculousness of the whole thing. Anyway, Jay had some other good little pointers here. I want to just pick out this gal as well, and maybe we can get her name. And I listened to the thing. Anyway, you can probably just about see it. Maris Herald. Well, of course, Maris is the maritime, the Mary again, and the Herald. Well, what's the Herald? There's two little references with Herald, and one that precedes or foreshadows heralds of a coming storm. One that proclaims, announcer. So you've got somebody that's announcing something, basically, heralding something. Anyway, you know, what else to say about it? You can read the other definitions there. Oh, just one other interesting thing. Webster, the dictionary. I think the dictionary has got an 8 and a 1 in it, maybe, I don't know. But Webster is, you know, this whole thing, the whole legal system is based on the dictionary. It's based on this idea of giving us a prescriptive language. By giving us a prescriptive language, by giving us this dictionary, right, they then can change. When we have a prescriptive language, right, now the system can go ahead and create its own legal language, which is different from prescriptive language. Because they teach prescriptive language, they can assume that we know this, and this is what we know. This is why everybody has to go to school and learn English to a certain standard, which the mind boggles right now at, you know, how these people's minds work on perpetrating the crimes that they do. But this is the reason why we have this dictionary. It's all to do with the legal system. And this is not a, you know, the dictionary itself per se is not a legal, is not legal in that sense of legal definitions. But you know, when you get into a legal dictionary, now we have slightly different definitions, and so it's that double talk, the double speak, that allows them to change definitions and start to trick people. And you know, they can have a clear conscience about it. But anyway, what I was going to say about Webster is Webster's another relation to Diana, the Princess of Wales, Diana. So just another little interesting. I don't know if I mentioned that before or not. I think maybe I did. I don't know. I've lost track of what I've mentioned. The Boulder Dam, put it in there. Don't need to see that. But anyway, she's heralding. She's giving you forewarning of what's to come. Mary, the heralder. And you know, you could break down the costumes that they wear. She's got the laurel crown on her head, and we can't see the rest of her head. I wonder if, I don't think we can get the rest of her head, but, and there's probably some other interest. Oh, this guy here, Roots. You know, going back to your roots. Also, we're going back to the root of, we're going back to the root of the red leg, which is where we're at right now. This is Boulder, Colorado, the Rocky Mountains. This is where it all begins. And I guess it's all downhill from here on out. I don't know. If you watch my other videos, you will know that 322, though, it definitely references 1118. Heavily references 1118, and you can look at that and November the 5th and all this other good stuff. So take the positive metaphor away from this, which is about we're going to see the end of the system, and for those people that have come to terms with that and come to terms with their own life and balancing their own life and have faith in God and do the right thing, I think we're all going to be fine. It's the people that are heavily entrenched in the nonsense of the system that are going to go, they're already lost, if you like. And obviously there's going to be a lot of people that are going to need support through this, because they are, you know, they're lost. You know, they're like children. They've not come of age yet, and this is, again, we're back to the coming of age, with the 21 and 18 and 16, three numbers that seem to pop up a lot. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think I've just about done that one in. I've probably forgotten something important. I can't think that there was anything else really. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Oh, I'll tell you what, another thing that there was another little link to Boulder, and I don't know if it's in, I put them in the Gematrinator, didn't I? Was Mork and Mindy as well. That was set in, I'm pretty sure it was set in Boulder, Colorado, because I did some stuff on the Boulder Dam and that link, and Mork being reborn in Boulder, and you know, he drops down in his little egg and busts out of his egg, and that's where he's born. It kind of a Zeus story again, you know, same as Jesus. Anyway, same as Jupiter. Zeus being spat out, and Zeus was Kronos was fooled with a rock. They gave him a rock to eat instead of Zeus. Okay. I don't know what else to say about it. That's all in a previous video. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I guess I'm going to catch you on the next one. Let me just flip down through here, just check there wasn't nothing. Oh, one last thing with the 83. Just one last thing. Okay, let's go back to Return of the Jedi. That came out in 83, and you'll see 77 is Elvis's death day, and that was A New Hope. And then I can't think the other ones. Was it 80 or 81? Anyway, When the Empire Strikes Back, and then we've got again, we've got 83 is the Return of the Jedi. Oh, so balance returning to the Force, balance returning, and Darth Vader will restore balance, hopefully. Alright, I'll catch you on next one. Cheers, bye.